Okay, just before we go to our news, this is an interesting story. Driverless cars could be on the road by 2020. It could be the norm sooner than we think. And as many as 4 states set to follow South Australia's lead in hosting trials of driverless cars on public roads in the next 12 months. Shara Evans is a futurist. Tell us about these driverless car trials, Shara. You've been watching them?
Yes, most certainly, Rod. There have been quite a few trials. The one you were referring to in South Australia was with 2 modified Volvo XC90 vehicles, and they performed flawlessly. There was another test with a Tesla Model S, which took some politicians for a 10-minute ride outside of Parliament House. Google has been doing lots of tests over the last few years. In fact, they've clocked up something like 1 million miles of autonomous driving. That's 90 years of human driving experience. And a really funny thing happened a few weeks ago with a Google car. It was actually pulled over by a cop in California. Not for going too fast, but for going too slow.
Oh, really?
And the cop was, it was really funny. And so the cop pulls the car over, and there's no driver in the car. There's just a passenger. So you can just imagine what it would be like for a police officer to be pulling a car over. There's no
unless of course it was RoboCop, in which case it'd be on an even footing.
But these tests are happening all over. In China, one of the web giants there, Baidu, is now trialing 2 prototype BMW Series 3 Gran Turismo cars on expressways in Beijing. There are taxi pod trials happening in the UK starting about a month ago, where these are electric vehicles that are running in highly pedestrianized areas and giving people rides around town. That's actually an interesting trial because most of the driverless car trials that we've seen have been on highways, whereas this trial is in an area with lots of people.
Yeah, it's amazing how this comes. I mean, I've watched the ads on TV where they show the park assist cars, where they help you park. And then you think, well, wow, that's fantastic. And then all of a sudden you've got driverless cars completely. And it could happen in the next 4 years.
Well, what we're going to see is that they'll be starting to come as options on commercial vehicle models, probably the top-end cars. And I would say we'd see features that would be called something like autopilot. And you'd probably use them on highways at first. But there's another really interesting technology that's going to be coming out in a few years as well, and it's called traffic jam assist. And companies like Volvo and Audi and BMW are using this technology to basically let you go hands-off in traffic jams. As long as there's a car in front of you, it's using the combination of lane-keeping assist and cameras and automatic acceleration and braking to keep you an even distance from cars in front of you.
It's exciting and it's scary all at the one time, isn't it, really?
It is. It has big implications for our society and for the job market as well.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yeah. I guess it would, yeah. I was just thinking while you were talking there, if you're a passenger in that driverless car and you've been drinking, how do you get on?
Well, hopefully you wouldn't have the problem of drunk driving because you're not actually driving.
Ah, yes. But are you in charge of the car?
Yeah. Well, one of the challenges that we'll have with legislation and with law enforcement is actually figuring out who is driving the car. If you're sitting in the driver's seat and the car is on autopilot and you get pulled over or get snared in a speed camera, how will anyone determine who's really driving? And I think we'll probably have something like black box technology that keeps track of whether the car is driving or you're driving.
That's twice as scary. Great to talk to you. Shara, you have a fantastic Christmas and New Year, and I'm sure we'll catch up in 2016.
Thank you, Rod.
Thank you very much, Shara. Shara Evans, a futurist. That is exciting and scary at the same time. Driverless cars, think about that. Could be happening sooner than you think. 2020, they reckon. Wow.